Be bold, be brilliant, be beautiful, be you always. Hey, it's Free and welcome to this video blog episode of the Soul Growth. Today's topic is going to be about seeds. And I know that doesn't make sense because we're talking about sexucation, but aren't our children our seeds? Think about it. So, if you plant a bad seed, regardless of how much energy, sunshine, love, light, soil, good soil, no matter what you do, it will impact the growth of that seed because it was a little disrupted in its natural encoding that was already there. So you have a bad seed, it may have a stunted growth, it may not grow and flourish as well, it may not produce fruit, but that's okay, sort of. Ideally, we want good seeds. Same with our children. See, a seed carries all of the genetic information to grow into a beautiful adult version of itself. It's all encoded very naturally. Size of the seed doesn't matter. A redwood sequoia tree grows 300 plus feet tall. Starts as a little bitty tiny seed. Tiny. Not a big old seed, tiny seed. Big pine cone looking thing with tiny seeds inside of it. That's how that grows. That's how that works. Everything that we know and that we eat starts out as a tiny little seed. And seeds, an apple doesn't start with the skin of an apple. It doesn't start with the flesh of an apple that we eat. It starts as a little bitty tiny seed and it grows outward further and further. Conception and pregnancy are literally the foundation of that child's mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional state. Where the parent is mentally will literally impact how that child will be when they are born. And I mean even at conception, because that is part of that person's DNA. Your DNA is constantly being built. It's constantly, expanding, growing. Yeah, they say that, it shrinks, and it does. You got the telomeres. I'm not getting into all of that. However, I want to talk about how where you are mentally can affect your child. If you are on your spiritual path and you're very religious or spiritual and you're really going and growing, your child can come out with that understanding already and then just build upon that and go even further in their life because they had a head start. If one of the parents has dark, deep, evil tendencies, that is literally encoded into that child. And if it's nurtured, they can actually become that. Nature versus nurture is such an amazing thing because regardless of the nurturing that you do, the child will always have choices. But I don't want to get too deep into that because today I really want to focus on understanding the importance of what the experience that the mother has when she's pregnant does, and knowing what your mentality when you conceive a child does. One thing I really want to touch on, first of all, like, share, and subscribe. I know that's random, but anyway, one thing I really want to focus on is having a child when another parent is not wanting it or isn't ready. Now, I don't make a child by myself. That man doesn't make a child by himself. We have to understand that. We have to understand the risks that are involved when we choose to be intimate with someone. I'm not a person that believes in abortion unless it's absolutely necessary. But I get it. People are. And that's fine. That's their choice. However, what I do want to say is forcing someone to have a child oftentimes has a lot of drama from the child's birth deep into the early developmental phases of that child, which strongly impacts, definitely impacts that child for their entire life. Having a child without a loving connection. There's this guy, and his name is Osho. Okay. The book I have that I'm talking about is From Sex to Super Consciousness. This is a phenomenal book. It touches on some amazing things. But having a child without a loving connection. So the deeper the union or connection, the better the offspring. So the deeper that connection is that you have with that other person, the better that offspring will be. The more shallow that meeting and that connection, the worse that offspring will be. The deterioration of man is due to the crassness of our attitudes towards sex. That's literally a quote, and that is so true. We've gotten worse and worse generationally because we have lost the regard and respect for sex that we should have. It's not to say we're having bad children, but it is to say that you can see that we've definitely gone progressively in a different direction. Okay. There's this thing called fetal programming. It's spelled FOETAL. But fetal programming is literally a thing where everything that the mommy experiences is foundational and part of the base coding for that child. The mental state of the mom can literally affect the child. Everything that mommy feels when she is pregnant with that child is literally felt by that baby. It is as if that baby is experiencing it too. They feel like cortisol is actually produced and gets into the womb if the mother is highly stressed during her pregnancy, which in turn can affect the mental state and even the physical state when that child is almost grown or grown deep into their age. So the mental state of the mom that she's in when she's pregnant can affect that child long term. And I want you to really understand this because it can not just affect the physical, but let's talk about the physical. It can create asthma, diabetes, high blood pressure later in life. But the mental things, the emotional things, that child can be very aggressive, be very depressed or sad, be very angry. All of these things occur based off of whatever the mother was experiencing when she was pregnant and that child was developing. That's like that seed, right? We're starting at the root and we're developing. And it starts with all of these things. So if you're adding cortisol and anger and depression and all these other things at the seed level, it's only going to grow, and it's already part of it. If you were to take, if you were to during the growth of something, or if you were to wrap us, whatever, I'm not going to go too deep into that because I have such limited time. I'm so sorry. I just want to expand upon it because I really want you to understand the importance of this. The result of anything we do depends on the mental attitude that we have when we do it. If you take a drunken sculptor and he tries to make a statue, what do you think that sculpture is going to look like? Be conscious about how you move. Be conscious about how you intimate with people. Be conscious about the fact that you are creating a seed. You could be creating a new life. If you want that child, no one seems to want a child that is not happy, that is not loving, that is not joyful. If you want that, then give that child that experience, and don't do it until you have that experience with someone. Don't do it until you are happy and loving in that type of relationship. Don't do it until you both are ready. That's all I have for you today. And this message is so important. So please share it. Thank you for tuning in. Love and light to you. Mwah. Peace.